He wasn't born with power, he carved it out of pain. Out of nights with no direction, out of walking through the rain. The world never gave him mercy, so he learned to give it none. Every scar became a lesson, every loss made him strong. Men feared the look in his eyes, 'cause they knew what he'd survive. He didn't chase the throne he sat on, he earned it just by staying alive. He carried power like a curse, heavy as a dirt he crawled from first. Silent as a shadow in a room full of lies, with the weight of a kingdom held behind his eyes. Yeah, he carried power like a curse, but he wore it like it could have been worse. He never spoke of the battles that carved mountains in his soul. He just walked the line between broken man and the man in control. Whiskey kept him steady, cigar smoke marked the nights where he planned the rise of empires in the corners of dim lights. He trusted few, loved even less. Loyalty came with a price, 'cause when you walk through hell to lead, you don't get to walk back nice. He carried power like a curse, heavy as the graves of those he crossed first. Cold as the steel he hid under his shirt, but still moving like a man who's known too much hurt. Yeah, he carried power like a curse, and every victory just made it worse. They never saw the way behind the man, only the fear, the legend, the plan. But late at night when the world grew still, the curse whispered louder than his will. The leader pays for what he commands, but he still stood tall, 'cause that's what power demands. He was the kind of man who burned for those he swore to protect, take the war upon himself just to keep their hands clean of regret. He didn't need applause or praise, those things never mattered. Only the outcomes, only the wins, even if it left him shattered. And though he bore the weight alone, he never laid it down, 'cause a man who rises from the ashes never fears another crown. He carried power like a curse, from the blood in the streets to the lessons rehearsed. A gentleman forging the smoke in the herd, a king built from shadows, not from the earth. Yeah, he carried power like a curse, but he carried it because someone had to first. Luck never fed me, never held me upright, never showed up in the middle of the night. I learned early that the world don't care. You earn your wins through grit and despair. Cards on the table, but I ain't here to bluff. Life hit me harder than these dealers ever could rough. Scars on my hands tell a story that's tough. Everyone earned when times got rough. I gamble with scars, not luck, with a will too stubborn to get stuck. The world hit heavy, but I never bucked. I rise again no matter how I'm struck. I gamble with scars, not chance. I stay standing when others can't. My pain ain't weakness, it's my I stand. Cigar smoke curls like the past in my lungs. Memories beating like war drums I've sung. But I don't run from the man I've become. I look in the mirror and don't feel numb. Whiskey burns warm but keeps me aware. Reminds me of nights when nobody was there. But I survived with nothing to spare. And that taught me strength ain't always fair. I gamble with scars, not luck. Built from nights that left me struck. But every fall taught me to get up. And that's why I don't give up. No need for love. I gamble with scars, not fate. I move forward at my own rate. Pressure builds diamonds, I relate. Some men pray for fortune, some men pray for signs. Me, I trust the fire running in my spine. My cuts, my bruises, all aligned to show the world this strength is mine. I gamble with scars, not luck. When the night turns cold and the winds conduct, I stay grounded, I stay unstuck. A man caught from pressure and pure heart grit. I gamble with scars, not love. And somehow I always fit. He never spoke to fill the silence, never bragged to win a crowd. He walked in with calm precision, never needed to be loud. Men like him don't ask for honor, they don't beg to be believed. They let their actions carve a story only the sharpest minds perceive. You could feel the room shift gently every time he took a stride. Not from arrogance or ego, but the storm he kept inside. Who he is without trying. He doesn't chase respect, he attracts it, not through noise, but through the way he stands and acts. He speaks little, but every word lands exact. He doesn't chase respect, he attracts it, he attracts it, he attracts it. The way he moves through the world, he keeps his circle small and silent, lets his discipline be known. He doesn't flex what he's accomplished, he lets the outcome set the tone. He's the man they watch in shadows, wondering how he stays so still. But calmness is a power only strong men learn to wield. And when he looks you in the eyes, you'll know exactly where you stand. Cause respect is drawn to men who understand their own command, the gravity of his presence. He doesn't chase respect, he doesn't need applause to know the strength he's packing. His aura does the talking, his silence is a tactic. He doesn't chase respect, he attracts it. He doesn't chase respect, he attracts it. Why men like him are red? 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 never need to quench a thirst. He knows real power isn't shown, it's something others sense. A presence born from purpose, from a life lived with intent. He doesn't chase respect. He doesn't chase respect. With every humble step, with every storm he's practiced, he earned his place through struggle, go through moments uncompacted. He doesn't chase respect, he attracts it. He doesn't chase respect, he attracts it. The moment he realized time was closing in, he spent years moving slowly, telling himself he still had time. Dreams sitting on dusty shelves, plans drifted somewhere behind. But one night the silence hit him, felt the weight of wasted days. And he saw his future fading in the mirror of his ways. His heartbeat sounded different, like a warning in his chest. Move now before the clock decides you've run out of what's left. The awakening, the awakening. Oh, his clock was dying, so his purpose started living. Every second growing louder, every breath a new beginning. He'd taken life for granted, but now time refused forgiving. His clock was dying, so his purpose started living. Oh, his clock was dying, so his purpose started living. He stopped saying tomorrow, stopped praying for perfect days. He stepped into the cold unknown and walked a whole new way. He burned the bridges of excuses, buried fear 6 feet below. Because a man who sees his time run out learns how fast he has to grow. The world had moved without him, but he was done standing still. Now every hour fueled his fire, every second fed his will. The flame inside him, oh, his clock was dying, so his purpose started living. He stopped waiting on permission, stopped asking for direction or forgiving. He rose with urgency in his blood, with discipline unforgiving. His clock was dying, so his purpose started living. A man doesn't change from comfort, he changes when the clock runs dry. When he feels the minutes choking him, when he knows he can't deny that life is short, that dreams expire, that time won't always give. So he sharpened every weakness, and he fought to truly live. The man he became. Whoa, his clock was dying, so his purpose started living. He rose from all the wasted years with a new fire, unforgiving. started living. He moves through the day like nothing's wrong, but the noise follows him home. Thoughts that claw at his chest, regrets that never leave him alone. So at night he fills a glass, lets the burn slow down his mind, because silence doesn't come easy to a man that's hard to unwind. He doesn't want to lose himself, he's just trying to get some peace, trying to calm the kind of storms that refuse to ever cease. While he reaches for the bottle, he drinks to quiet the noise that no one else can hear. The memories that haunt him, the whispers of his fears. He doesn't drink for pleasure, he drinks to disappear from the noise inside his soul that won't let him steal. The silent battles in him brag about the pressure, doesn't say what keeps him up. He just lights a lonely cigarette and pours another cup. People think he's strong because he never breaks in view, but strength looks different in the dark when the past keeps breaking through. He's a man who fights his demons in the quiet of his room, not to feel alive, but to outrun the gloom. He drinks to quiet the noise that lives beneath his skin, the echo of all failures, the wars he didn't win. It doesn't heal the bruises, but it numbs them from within. Yeah, he drinks to quiet the noise, just to breathe again. He's not weak, he's just tired, not lost, just wanting. Some men scream their pain aloud, but he keeps his locked in. And when the world grows heavy and his heartbeat starts to race, a little whiskey slows the world back down to a human pace. He drinks to quiet the noise that won't let him sleep at night. He's fighting shadows in his chest no one else can fight. And though the burn won't save him, it makes the darkness feel less bright. He drinks to quiet the noise, just to make it through the night. He finally faced himself. He woke up one morning and felt something in his chest, a heaviness from years he never put to rest. He stared at his reflection, saw a man he didn't trust, a man lost in old patterns, living life out of rust. He whispered to the mirror, like confessing to the glass, I'm tired of this version of me, it's time to let him pass. leaving nothing in the cracks. Yeah, he's done with who he was, and he's never going back. At first the change was painful, old habits pulled like chains. The comfort of familiar hurt still lingered in his veins. But he pushed through every moment, even when doubt hit hard, because the man he was becoming was worth every painful scar. He learned discipline in silence, learned courage in the climb, and found out that a better life takes work, not perfect time. He's done with who he was, done giving fear a seat. He's walking into purpose now with stronger, steadier feet. He's done surviving quietly, now he's learning to compete. Yeah, he's done with who he was, and the change feels bittersweet. Trauma that shaped him far too long. He let go of the voices that told him he wasn't strong. And when he closed the door on the man he used to be, he opened up a future he was finally ready to see. He's done with who he was and ready for who he'll become. He traded weakness for purpose, traded fear for standing strong. His past may still whisper, but its grip is finally gone. Yeah, he's done with who he was, and his new life has begun. He was a kind of man who never spoke of what he felt. He carried flames inside his chest that would have made another melt. People saw him in the daylight, calm eyes, steady breath, but they didn't see the battle he'd already fought to death. He walked like nothing touched him, though the heat lived in his bones. And every scar he carried was a story never shown. He was a man who walked through fire without making a sound. Burns beneath his jacket, but his footsteps stayed profound. Pain tried to break him, but it never pulled him down. He walked through fire without making a sound. What fire taught him, learned to breathe through every flame. Every loss became a lesson, every heartbreak carved his name. He didn't brag about endurance, didn't shout about the heat. He simply kept on walking while the fire kissed his feet. The world mistook his silence for a man who never bleeds, but his strength was in the quiet, where a weaker man conceals his unbreakable calm. He was a man who walked through fire without making a sound. Ashes fell behind him, one like him. They only sharpen when the flames begin to roar. He didn't want the crown, didn't need the world to see. The fire didn't make him louder, it made him who he came to be. He was a man who walked through fire without making a sound. He mastered every heartbreak, let his silence be renowned. And though the flames tried hard to claim him, he rose on solid ground. He walked through fire and never made a sound. Night creeps in like an old enemy, cold wind brushing against the man I used to be. But I don't flinch, I don't fold from the sight. I stood toe to toe with darker nights. I strike a match, watch the flame ignite, live my cigar with a hand that's fought for its life. Smoke rolls out like a ghost in flight, a quiet reminder I survived every fight. I light my cigar and face the night. A lone wolf carved from loss and spite. Pain tried to break me, tried to dim my light, but I rise again, prepared to fight. I light my cigar and face the night. Shadow built, but standing upright. A man born from fire, all one and tight. I carry myself with silent might. Whiskey hums low in the back of my chest. A soft little burn reminds me I'm blessed. Not with ease, not with comfort or rest, but with strength that outlived every test. People see the smoke, but never the war. They see the man, not what came before. But I walk forward, ready for more, because men like me don't fear the floor. I light my cigar and face the night. Every scar badge of the fights I ride. I keep moving even when the world bites, 'cause steel gets forged by pressure and plight. I light my cigar and face the night. No shadow ever wins that fight. My will is heavier than the darkest night. I don't back down, I ignite. Some men need crowds, some men need praise. Me, I just need a little smoke to clear the haze. A steady flame, a quiet blaze. That's all I need to walk through days. I light my cigar and face the night with steady breath and sharp insight. Darkness bows to my inner light, a gentleman built for the endless fight. I light my cigar and face the night, and somehow everything feels right, because in the shadows where others lose sight, I find my purpose, I find my bite. He'd been walking in circles for years, carrying habits that kept him weak, living on old mistakes, repeating the same painful week. He looked in the mirror one morning and didn't like who he saw. A man built from excuses, a man afraid to fall. But something shifted quietly, like a whisper in his blood, a voice telling him it's time to rise from where he stood. His break from the past. He chose a new road, leaving the old him behind. No more running from himself, no more wasting precious time. He stepped away from comfort, from the chains he used to find. Yeah, he chose a new road, one built by discipline and mind. The struggle to become better, it wasn't easy at the start. The past kept calling his name, old habits tried to drag him back into the man he overcame. But he kept moving forward, even when doubt curled around, because progress isn't pretty, it's a fight to stay unbound. He learned to love the silence, learned to trust the grind, and every step he took pulled him farther from his old mind. He chose a new road, where excuses couldn't live, where he faced his deepest wounds and learned what strength could give. He wasn't chasing perfection, just a life he could forgive. Yeah, he chose a new road and walked like he had something to give. What he finally understood, realize change isn't magic. It's choosing better every day. It's letting go of what broke you and clearing your own way. He didn't need applause, didn't need anyone to see, because the man he was becoming was the man he'd meant to be. He chose a new road, and he's not looking back. Buried the old aversions that kept him off his track. Now his steps are filled with purpose, no more weight upon his back. He chose a new road, and he's never going back. Some nights I sit alone with the bottle and the truth, thinking about the miles I walked and the scars from my youth. Cigar burning slow while the world keeps spinning, but this quiet little fire's the only place I'm winning. talk big when they don't know pain. They act like storms don't flood a man's brain. But whiskey don't ask where I've been. It just warms my chest and lets me breathe again. My whiskey don't judge me. It knows what I've survived. It don't care about the battles that kept me up at night. When the world feels too heavy and the silence ain't polite, my whiskey don't judge me. It just gets me through the fight. I've carried burdens that will crush a weaker spine. Walked through hell without a map, still made it out fine. Every sip reminds me of the man I had to build. Not born strong, I was forged by guilt. Cigar smoke dances like the ghosts I ignored. Memories knocking on a locked up door. But this glass in my hand don't ask for more. It just sits with me while I settle every score. My whiskey don't judge me. It don't ask me why I'm tired. It don't stitch up the past, but it keeps my soul inspired. When the world turns cold and my hope feels mine, my whiskey don't judge me. It keeps my fire wired. I ain't proud of every choice I made, but a man learns truth in a mess he played. And when life hits hard like a debt unpaid, I take a breath and let the darkness fade. My whiskey don't judge me, and maybe that's enough. The world wants perfection, but I'm built a little rough. When life cuts deep and the road gets tough, my whiskey don't judge me. It just helps me rise above. My whiskey don't judge me. He pours a glass at midnight, lets a silence fill the room, takes a slow breath of his cigar, like he's bargaining with doom. Life's been heavy on his shoulder, too much weight for one man's spine. So he leans into the bitterness that helps him feel alive. The world calls it weakness, but they don't know his night. They never saw the battle he fought without light. Why he reaches for the bottle. He keep whiskey for the wounds that never learn to fade, for the memories that haunt him and the choices that he made. It doesn't fix the broken parts, but it helps him feel unchained. Yeah, he keep whiskey for the wounds life carved into his name. goes in silence. Just goes in silence. He doesn't drink to vanish, doesn't smoke to lose control. He does it just to steady what's been shaking in his soul. The burn reminds him he's alive. The smoke hides what he survived. And in that dimly lit escape, he feels just strong enough to ride. He's not proud of how he copes, but he's proud he's still here. Some men talk about their battle, he keeps his battles clear. His way of staying standing, he keeps whiskey for the wounds that ache when he's alone, for the pain he can't explain. It doesn't heal the deepest cuts, but it keeps him on the road. Yeah, he keeps whiskey for the wounds life left inside his bones. Stand without it. One day he'll breathe brand new, but tonight he needs the moment where the fire pulls him through. And though he walks a quiet line between brokenness and grit, a man who's lived through darkness uses what he must to live with it. The man he is tonight. He keeps whiskey for the wounds that time refused to heal, for the nights he almost shattered, for the weight he had to feel. It doesn't make him weaker, it's just how we learn to deal. Yeah, he keeps whiskey for the wounds, but he walks forward, still made of steel. Born in the storm and raised in the cold. Learned early that the world don't protect the bold. Cigar smoke settles when my thoughts unfold, and every scar I earned was worth more than gold. I've walked through nights that swallowed the brave, carried the weight most men couldn't save. But the fire in my chest won't let me cave. I rise again from every wave. I got whiskey in my blood, fire burning in my bones. Even when the night is heavy, I stand my ground alone. If the world wants war, then let it be known. I ain't afraid of darkness, I call it home. I call it home. weak spines, cross lines where mercy don't shine. Whiskey warms the places life left behind and keeps my heart steady when it's misaligned. The cigarette ember glows like a quiet vow to never let the past drag me down. Every loss built the man I am now, a king with no need for a crown. I got a whiskey in my blood, a fire that never slows, through every cut and curse, that heat still grows. If fate wants smoke, I'll give it blows. A man like me survive whatever it throws. I ain't looking for praise, I don't need applause. I just fight through the haze with my own set of laws. I built my strength from every flaw, turned every pain into something raw. I got whiskey in my blood, fire raging in my bones. I don't run from storms, I walk them like thrones. If the night gets wild, if the wind moans, I rise again, because darkness is my home. I've walked through nights that would break most men, took losses I never wanted to take again. But fear don't live in the veins I keep. Pain just taught me how to breathe deep. Whiskey burns steady in my right hand, left hand ready for whatever life demands. Every gamble I make ain't for wealth or fame, it's to prove I still own my name. I roll the dice on myself tonight. No backup plan, no second sight. If darkness swings, I still won't fight. I was made for the edge of the fight. I roll the dice on myself again. Win or lose, I rise like them. The world breaks boys, but I'm a man. Cigar smoke settles in the air I breathe, like shadows that never learn to leave. The table's cold but my heart's on fire, fueled by wounds and old desires. I ain't searching for luck to save my soul. I learned long ago I'm the one in control. Life stacks a deck just to watch me fold, but steel only sharpens when it's cold. I roll the dice on myself tonight. No fear of wrong, no hope of right. I stand alone, but I stand upright. A ghost-proof man built from the fight. I roll the dice myself again, 'cause no one else can play my hand. I don't survive, I withstand. Some men pray when life gets tight, some men run from the endless night. Me, I lean in, I strike, I bite. I've never been scared of the dark or the light. I roll the dice on myself tonight, let the world watch me ignite. If fate is hard, I still unite. My heart, my grit, my silent might. I roll the dice on myself again. No turning back, no counting ten. A gentleman carved in smoke and sin. I don't play to win, I play to begin. I play to begin. I play to begin. Oh, what made him a king? He didn't rise because they chose him, didn't wear a crown by right. He climbed through places men avoid, walked alone through endless night. Every wound became his teacher, every heartbreak shaped his spine. He wasn't raised to rule a kingdom, he built one over time. The world saw only calmness in the way he stood so still, but they didn't see the battles that sharpened his iron will. He was a king built from scars, not crowned. From every time life beated him and he refused to stay down. His throne wasn't given, it was carved from battlegrounds. He was a king built from scars, not crowned. What he survived. There were nights that tried to end him, days that broke him to the bone. But he learned strength isn't gifted, it's earned when you're alone. He carried wounds like medals, each one proof he stayed alive. And the man who crossed through fire is the one most fit to thrive. He didn't rule with arrogance, didn't speak to show he could. He led with quiet discipline, because pain taught him he should. He was a king built from scars, not crowns. From silent wars he fought when no one else was around. His victories came from struggle, not applause or royal sounds. He was a king built from scars, not crown, not crown. Some men learn in comfort, he learned through loss and fear. Some men rise with cheering, he rose when no one was near. His crown was forged in darkness, his strength carved out of pain. And kings born from their suffering are the ones who truly reign. He was a king built from scars, not crowns. The world tried to destroy him, but he turned that pain around. Now every mark upon his story is a jewel upon his gown. was a king built from scars, and no crown could bring him down. A crown. There's a war in my chest that the world can't see. A silent storm that keeps dragging at me. I light a cigar just to slow my mind. Let the smoke wrap around the pain I hide behind. Every breath I take feels like it's earned. Another lesson from the nights I've burned. Whiskey whispers truths I never confide, but I'm still standing, I'm still alive. I smoke too quiet, the war inside, the battles I fight, the tears I deny. Shadow or flame, I still survive. A man who learned to rise through the tide. I smoke too quiet, the war inside, 'cause peace don't come no matter how I try. But I keep moving with a wounded pride. I'll carry this storm for the rest of the ride. I swear the darkness talks. It echoes footsteps from the roads I walk. Pain's an old friend that still comes around, sits beside me when I'm whiskey bound. But I don't break, I don't fall apart. I turn that hurt into muscle and heart. Cigar ash drops like the years I lost, but every year built the man I become. No matter the cause, I smoke too quiet, the war inside, the storms that chase me, lies that lie. But I keep walking dignified, a shadow king the night can't hide. I smoke too quiet, the war inside, where the broken dreams and scars reside. But I push forward, amplified, 'cause quitting never lived in my stride. The world don't know the weight I drag, the fears I bury, the truths I tag. But every puff feels like a flag, a signal that I'm still here, still fighting through the jagged. I smoke too quiet, the war inside, not to escape, but to steady the ride. A soldier of silence, battle supplied, a gentleman forged in the shadows' pride. I smoke too quiet, the war inside, and though the pain never fully died, oh, I walk forward dignified, a man rebuilt, not denied. Moves through the day like nothing's wrong, but the noise follows him home. Thoughts that claw at his chest, regrets that never leave him alone. So at night he fills a glass, lets the burn slow down his mind. Because silence doesn't come easy to a man that's hard to unwind. He doesn't wanna lose himself, he's just trying to get some peace, trying to calm the kind of storms that refuse to ever cease. Why he reaches for the bottle, he drinks to quiet the noise that no one else can hear, the memories that haunt him, the whispers of his fear. He doesn't drink for pleasure, he drinks to disappear from the noise inside his soul that won't let him steer his silent battles. Silent battle. He doesn't brag about the pressure, doesn't say what keeps him up. He just lights a lonely cigarette and pours another cup. People think he's strong because he never breaks in view, but strength looks different in the dark when the past keeps breaking through. He's a man who fights his demons in the quiet of his room, not to feel alive, but to outrun the gloom. The escape he depends on. Quiet the noise that lives beneath his skin, the echo of old failures, the wars he didn't win. It doesn't heal the bruises, but it numbs them from within. Yeah, he drinks to quiet the noise, just to breathe again. He's not weak, he's just tired, not lost, just one thing. Some men scream their pain aloud, but he keeps his locked in. And when the world grows heavy and his heartbeat starts to race, a little whiskey slows the world back down to a human pace. He drinks to quiet the noise that won't let him sleep at night. He's fighting shadows in his chest no one else can fight. And though the burn won't save him, it makes the darkness feel less bright. He drinks to quiet the noise, just to make it through the night.